question number 6 of numerical method worksheet, also known as iterative method. Okay, so it says, by sketching a suitable pair of graphs, show that 2 minus x equals ln x has one root. All right, part 1. So let's sketch ln x first. Ln x goes like this. This is the graph of ln x, and this would be 1 here, okay, because ln 1 is 0. Okay, now we have to sketch the graph of 2 minus x. Y equals 2 minus x. So I know it's going to be a falling line, and its y-intercept is going to be 2. So it's going to be a line like this. It passes through 2 and 2 here. So we see that there's only one point of intersection. So hence one root. One point of intersection. Hence one root. Part 2, verify by calculation that this root lies between 1.4 and 1.7. Now, whenever you get a question like this where you have to prove that the root lies between two consecutive values, two values, what you have to do, first thing you need to do is bring one side of the equation to the other side so that you get equals to 0 at one end. So 2 minus x minus ln x. Now you have equals to 0 on one side, and this becomes your fx. So you have to find the value of f1.4 and f1.7. You'll see that you'll get two values with different signs. Let's find the value. करके बताते हो मुझे क्या आंसर आता है f1.4 and f1.7 का. I've written 0.2635 and the other one is negative 0.2306. So there's a change in sign. That means that the graph crosses the x-axis between these 2 points. There's 1.4 and there's 1.7. At 1.4, the value is positive, and at 1.7, the value is negative. So the graph crosses the x-axis between these 2 points, hence the root lies between 1.4 and 1.7. So you write change in sign indicate that graph or curve crosses, I think curve is a better word. Curve crosses x-axis between 1.4 and 1.7, hence the root lies between 1.4 and 1.7. Okay, that was part 2. Any questions, especially from Adan and Fazil? No?
Okay.
Then we move on. Okay. So next part is show that this root also satisfies this equation. Okay. सो ये जो रूट अभी हमने निकाला दिखाया है कि इट लाइज बिटवीन 1.4 एंड 1.7, दैट इज द रूट ऑफ दिस इक्वेशन. Part 3 says, show that the root also satisfies this equation. That means these two must be equivalent equations. So you can write 1, you can rearrange 1 and get the other one. So I'm going to rearrange 3 and get the equation in part 1. So I'm sending 3 to the other side. 3x equals 4 plus x minus 2 ln x. Okay, so that becomes 2x equals 4 minus 2 ln x. That becomes x equals 2 minus ln x. So ln x equals 2 minus x. So you've shown that these two are actually the same equation. So of course, whatever is the root for the equation in part 1 is also the root for the equation in part 2 because they're equivalent equations. So hence shown, just right, hence shown. Okay, part 4. Now they've given you an iterative formula. If they had asked you to form the iterative formula on your own, so क्या करना होता है, x एक x seclude करना होता है. It's already secluded here. The secluded x gets the subscript n plus 1 and any x at the right hand side gets the subscript n. So in many questions you're asked to state the iterative formula on your own, तो वो करना भी मुश्किल नहीं है. और in many questions they also give you the iterative formula like here. अच्छा जी. So the initial value is 1.5, so you write x1 equals 1.5. Next in your calculator you press 1.5 and then you press equals to. उससे ये होता है कि आंसर की में 1.5 सेव हो गया. Next, you have to show the first iteration. So this when n is 1, this becomes n2 equals 1 by 3, 4 plus, this would be x1, x1 is 1.5, minus 2 ln, and this is also x1, which is 1.5. Show the complete first iteration. However, in the calculator you won't be entering 1.5 here or 1.5 here, you'll be entering answer and answer. So the result of this would be, first I'll write 1.5, then press equals to, अब answer की में 1.5 store हो गया. Now I'm entering fraction 1 by 3 bracket 4 plus answer key minus 2 times ln answer key bracket close, bracket close. Okay. This gives me 1.5630. They're saying give the result of each iteration to 4 decimal place. So 1.5630 is the first iteration, x2. For the next one, you don't have to show it completely, but now up x2 answer में save हो गया. So just press equals to. All you have to do is press equals to and it will give you the result of the next iteration, 1.5566 equals to, that gives you the next iteration, 1.5572. So क्या कर रहा है कि आपके पिछले रिजल्ट को फॉर्मूला में पुट किया जा रहा है. So equals to, press equals to again, 1.5571 equals to again 1.5571 equals to again 1.5571. So the answer is not changing. That means it has converged. Then you have to give the root correct to 2 decimal place. So 1.56 is the root correct to 2 decimal places. So that's the advantage of iterative formula. अगर एक डिफरेंट सी इक्वेशन हो जो हमें वैसे सॉल्व करनी नहीं आती, we can use iterative method to find the root of the given equation. Okay, this was question number 6. Question 7. I'm going to give question 7 as homework. Question 8. Okay. The diagram shows a semicircle ACB with center O and radius R. The tangent at C meets AB produced at T. The angle BOC is x radians. The area of the shaded region is equals to the area of semicircle. Okay, this is important. We'll start the question from here. The area of the shaded region is equals to the area of the semicircle. Show that x satisfies this equation. Okay, so for part 1, area of the shaded region is equals to area of the semicircle. Okay, so shaded region का area हम कैसे निकाल लेंगे? We can find the area of the triangle or state the area of the triangle, and from that triangle we can subtract the sector. So triangle area minus sector area. Area of triangle would be, since this is a right angle, if you remember from O levels, that tangent and radius are perpendicular. So area of this triangle is going to be half times base, which is R, times height, which is CT, minus area of the sector. Again, if you remember from AS, area of sector in radians is half R square theta. So half times R square X, that is going to be the area of the shaded region, is equals to area of the semicircle. Area of the semicircle is half times pi R square. Okay. Now there's no R here in the question, in the given equation, in the required equation, and also there shouldn't be any CT. Let's write CT in terms of tan and R. I'm going to use through proper brushing. Tan X would be equals to through proper brushing. So CT equals R tan X. So we have half times R times R tan T, sorry, R tan X, minus half R square X equals half pi R square. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to subtract, I'm going to cancel half everywhere, and I'm going to cancel R square everywhere as well. We can take half and R square common here, and we're left with tan X minus X. And here also we have half R square and then pi. So this and this cancels out, and we get tan X minus X equals pi, which is the same as tan X equals X plus pi, and that is what we were supposed to show. So in a way, part 1 is from AS syllabus. Circular measure. Part 2 is from iterative formula. Use the iterative formula xn plus 1 equals tan inverse x plus pi to determine x correct to 2 decimal place. Give the result of each iteration correct to 4 decimal place. Again, they have given you the iterative formula in the question. बट हो सकता था कि ना देते और आपको कहते कि खुद लिखें iterative formula. So let's also go over that. Had they not given us the iterative formula, तो आपके पास two options होती हैं iterative formula लिखने की. In the iterative formula, you just need an x at the left hand side. That x does not have to be the subject of the formula. बस एक x साइड पे होना चाहिए. So जो इन्होंने iterative formula लिया है, there they've sent tan to the other side and they get an x. They did tan inverse x plus pi by taking tan to the other side from this equation. And then they wrote n plus 1 here with the secluded x and n here with the other x. So आप हर iteration का result इसमें enter करते जाओगे और इसीलिए हम आंसर की यूज करते हैं कैलकुलेटर में और एक्चुअल वैल्यूज बार बार नहीं एंटर करते टू सेव टाइम. ओके, नाउ there is another way of getting the iterative formula by secluding the x at the right. So you can send pi to the other side and you get tan x minus pi equals x. Then the secluded x will have a subscript of n plus 1 and this would be n. And in the calculator you replace this with the answer. So to form an iterative formula, you need to seclude one of the x in the given equation और उस x के subscript में n plus 1 लिखते हैं और बाकी x के subscript में n लिखते हैं. Part 2. Now they've given you an initial value or not. Use the iterative formula to determine x correct to 2 decimal place. Use the result of each iteration to 4 decimal place. अच्छा, उन्होंने x की initial value नहीं दी. They haven't given you the value of x1. So what do we take x1? Doesn't really
एक्स
matter.
जीरो कर देंगे एक को, बोला कि जो इनसाइड tan इनवर्स है.
x को 0 कर लेंगे, क्यों?
कि मैम ये अगर ये इसकी nth जीरो हो जाएगी तो फिर तो इसका मतलब वैल्यू एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करती इसकी.
आप वैसे ही देख लो कि ये x किसके बीच में है. x is this value, so it is something between 0 and pi by 2. So you're right. ठीक है, pi by 2 ये 90 डिग्री हो गया और 0 इधर हो गया. So you can start with 0. और जरूरी नहीं है जीरो लो, आप पाई बाय टू भी लोगे तो वो कन्वर्ज कर देगा. आप इवन अगर टू भी लोगे ना, x इज इक्वल्स टू टू, तब भी कन्वर्ज कर देगा. बस अगर आप बहुत ज्यादा दूर वैल्यू लोगे फ्रॉम द एक्चुअल वैल्यू ऑफ x तो वो आइट्रेशन बहुत ज्यादा रहेगा और जितनी आप क्लोज वैल्यू लोगे उतनी कम आइट्रेशन होगी. सो इट डज नॉट रियली मैटर. बट एक मतलब स्मार्ट वैल्यू ले सकते हैं कि मिनिमम वैल्यू एक्स की क्या होगी, जीरो होगी. आप 0.1 भी ले सकते हो, 0.2 भी ले सकते हो, 0.5 भी ले सकते हो. So for now, let's just start with x is equals to 0, x1 is equals to 0. Alright, so for x2, you have to show the first iteration to the examiner, at least the first iteration. So x2 would be tan inverse previous iteration की value इधर 0 plus pi. What does that give us? Tan inverse pi. 1.2626. Okay. Now in the calculator, you're entering answer here. So I'm going to first write 0 and press equals to, ताकि answer key में 0 save हो गया. Now I'm entering tan inverse answer plus pi bracket close. So the first was 1.2626. I'll press equals to again. That is 1.3475. Next is 1.3516. Next is 1.3518. Next is 1.3518 again. And next is also 1.3518. So the answer has converged. We have a root since the value is not changing now. So this was x4, x5, x6, and x7. Okay, so the final answer has to be given correct to 2 decimal place. So the value of x would be 1.35 after rounding to 2b. Any questions? If not, then we move on. Question 9. The diagram shows a sector OAB of a circle with center O, radius R. The angle AOB is alpha radians, where alpha is between 0 to pi by 2. Point N on OA is such that BN is perpendicular to OA. The area of the triangle ONB is half of the area of sector OAB. Okay. So the area of this triangle is half the area of this entire sector. So we're going to use this to show this. Show alpha satisfies this equation. Okay, so I'm going to start with area of triangle, which is half times base times height. So half times ON times BN, which is going to be equals to, it's half the area of the sector. So half times area of the sector is half r squared theta from last year. So half times r squared times alpha. Next, I need ON and BN in terms of r. So ON will be what ये mechanics से थोड़ा सा याद है, this is going to be r cos theta, r cos alpha, sorry, and this is going to be r sin alpha. Otherwise, you use trigonometry. You can use SOCAT or some people have curly brown hair and get ON and NB in terms of R. So half OA is, sorry, ON is R cos alpha times BN is R sin alpha equals 1 by 4 R square alpha. We have half R square sin alpha cos alpha equals 1 by 4 R square alpha. R square gets cancelled on both sides. This 2 and 4 cancels out, so we get 2 here. So we have 2 sin alpha cos alpha equals A. And we know that 2 sin theta cos theta is actually equals to sin 2 theta. So this would be sin 2 alpha equals alpha. And here they've written x instead of alpha, so you write sin 2x equals x. So we've shown that we get this equation after simplification. Okay. Part 2. By sketching a suitable pair of graphs, show that the equation has exactly one root in the interval 0 to pi by 2. So you have to show that this equation has only one root between 0 to pi by 2. Okay. I'm going to sketch sine 2x first. So I know sine 2x has two cycles, completes two cycles between 0 to 2 pi. So this would be its first cycle and this would be its second cycle. This would be 1 and this would be minus 1. However, our domain is just from 0 to pi by 2. So this is 0 to pi by 2. So you just have to sketch this much of the graph. तो अब मैं बाकी clear कर रही हूँ, that was not needed. So I'm just going to sketch one curve and it ends at, this would be half of pi, so pi by 2. And there's a 0 here, sorry, 1 here. Okay, what's the other side? The other side is equals x. So on the other side, you have to sketch y equals x. This would be y equals x. Okay, what is pi by 2 in decimal? Pi by 2 in decimal is 1.5. So when x is 0, y would be 0 for y is equals to 0. And when x is pi by 2, which is 1.57, y will also be 1.57. So roughly somewhere over here. 1.5 बस यहाँ कहीं 2 होगा तो उसके बीच में कहीं 1.5 होगा and this is the line y is equals to x. So now through sketching we have verified that there is only one solution in the interval 0 to pi by 2. So one point of intersection, hence one solution. One point of intersection, hence one solution. Next part is use the iterative formula xn plus 1 equals sine 2xn with initial value x is equals to 1 to find alpha corrected to decimal place showing the result of each iteration. So now we're going to press 1 and equals to in the calculator so that 1 gets saved in the answer key. You have to properly show the very first iteration. So you have to show x2. So x1 is 1 already given. X2, show complete iteration, sine 2 times 1, show the complete equation, which gives whatever we'll find shortly. Then x3, then x4, then x5, and so on. x6. Okay, now I'm going to save 1 in the answer key. 1 equals to, then I'm entering sine 2 times answer, bracket close. So the first answer is 0.9093. 4 decimal place तक each iteration का result दिखाना होता है whether the question says so or not. Usually it does. Second iteration is 0.9695. Next is 0.9330. Just have to keep pressing equals to 0.9567, 0.9419. It's not converging. Why is that? 0.9514, 0.9453. मैंने कुछ गलत तो नहीं कर दिया?
13th iteration पर आ रहा है इसका ये
9492। अच्छा, फिर देन यू कैन ऑल्सो राइट डॉट डॉट डॉट। जब ऐसा हो रहा होता है ना, आप इक्वल्स टू प्रेस करते रहो 7-8 दफा आप इक्वल्स टू प्रेस करो जब तक आंसर फिक्स ना हो जाए। सो मेरे पास अब 0.9477 पे फिक्स हो गया। उसके पीछे वाली डेसिमल वैल्यूज फिर भी चेंज हो रही होती हैं, बट ये वाली नहीं चेंज हो रही होती है। द फर्स्ट फोर हैव स्टॉप चेंजिंग। 0.9477 बहुत देर पे जाके आइटरेट होता है ये। इन्होंने अगर इसको थोड़ा, although it's so close to the actual value 0.9477, but ये कर्व ही ऐसी है कि ये देर से कन्वर्ट हो रहा है। Okay, so the answer is 0.9477, but the final rounded off answer must be correct to two decimal place, which is 0.95. That's question 9. Now let's do question 10. Okay. The equation x cubed minus x minus 3 is equals to 0 has one real root alpha. Show that alpha lies between 1 and 2. इसका एक ही मेथड होता है। स्टेप 1, you should ensure there's equals to 0 on one side of the equation. It's already equals to 0. So then you write fx equals x cubed minus x minus 3. Then you find the value of f1 and f2 and show that you're getting two different signs. The first one is positive, then the second one is negative, or the other way around. So f1 is 1 minus 1 minus 3 minus 3, and the other one is 2q minus 2 minus 3, which is 3. So we can see that there's a change of sign. So 1 पे negative value आई है और 2 पे positive value आई है. That means the curve has crossed the x-axis between these 2 points. Hence, the root definitely lies between 1 and 2. So the change of sign indicates the change of sign indicates that curve crosses x-axis between 1 and 2. So the root lies between 1 and 2. Okay. Part 2. True iterative formulas derived from this equation are as follows. ओके, अगेन आइटरेटिव फॉर्मूला के लिए आपने क्या करना होता है, एक x को एक साइड पे करना होता है और बाकी सबको दूसरी साइड पे। सो इस इक्वेशन में दिस आल्सो x क्यूब एंड दिस आल्सो x। एक केस में जिधर उन्होंने क्यूब रूट लिया हुआ है, सेकंड पार्ट बी में, इक्वेशन बी में, उसमें उन्होंने एक्स क्यूब का एक्स को सब्जेक्ट बना लिया, और जो ए इक्वेशन है उसमें उन्होंने सिंपल बीच वाले माइनस एक्स को दूसरी साइड पे ले जाके उसको सब्जेक्ट बना लिया। सो they've given you the two iterative formulas, but do expect questions where they ask you to write two possible iterative formulas for the given equation. So खुद भी करना पड़ जाता है। Okay, show that one of these formula produces a sequence which fails to converge. अब आपने iterative method इस पे अप्लाई करना है, ए पे भी और बी पे भी। एक पे आंसर कन्वर्ज कर जाएगा, स्टैटिक वैल्यू आ जाएगी, और एक पे आप 1000 दफा भी इक्वल्स टू प्रेस कर दोगे, इट विल नॉट गिव यू द सेम वैल्यू, इट विल नॉट कन्वर्ज टू अ सिंगल वैल्यू. So that's what you have to show. Let's do equation A first. So for A, x1 is 1.5. For x2, we'll write 1.5 cube minus 3. So writing 1.5 equals to, that's stored in the answer key, and I'm writing answer cube minus 3 equals to, so first answer is 0.375. Okay, since it says 4 decimal place, तो यहाँ पे एक 0 भी लिखेंगे जरूर. Okay, then x3, which is press equals to again, that gives a negative answer, minus 2.947. Then press equals to again, that is giving us negative 28.6. It's not converging, diverge हो रहा है, values एक दूसरे से बहुत different आ रही. Then it's a huge value, minus 23399. Then this is going to be actually bigger. So now it's a huge number, minus 1.2812 times 10 power 13. So you write that values are diverging or values are not converging. Fail, or just even write this, fail to converge. Fails to converge. Now show the apply iterative formula on this one, part B. So for B, x1 is again 1.5, x2 would be bracket 1.5 plus 3 power 1 by 3. So 1.5 equals, and then bracket answer plus 3 bracket close power 1 by 3 gives 1.6509 or 1.6501, 1.6510, sorry, one decimal place पे exactly. Press equals to again and we get 1.6692. 1.6692. Next is 1.6714. Next is 1.6717. Next is 1.6717 again. 1.6717 again, so it has converged. So the final answer correct to two decimal places, 1.67 equals x. So sequence A or the iterative formula A failed to converge, but the iterative formula B gave you the correct answer. Okay. Question number 11. What was that? Your call ends in 15 minutes. Okay. मैं OBS से रिकॉर्ड कर रही हूँ स्क्रीन और उसकी वजह से लैपटॉप स्लो हुआ. So it's such a inconvenience. Zoom not working for me anymore. Question number 11. The equation x cubed minus 8x minus 13 is equals to 0 has one real root. Find the two consecutive integers between which the root lies. अच्छा, usually ये question होता है कि वो कहते हैं कि show that root lies between 1 and 2. तो आप दिखा देते हो कि f1 का आंसर पॉजिटिव है और f2 का आंसर नेगेटिव है, सो द रूट लाइज बिटवीन 1 and 2. अब इस क्वेश्चन में आपको कोई इक्वेशन नहीं दी हुई, कोई वैल्यूज नहीं दी हुई जिसके बीच में आपको वेरीफाई करना है कि रूट इसके और इसके बीच में लाई करता है. अब आप क्या करोगे, टेबल मेथड यूज करोगे अपने कैलकुलेटर में और देखोगे कि किन वैल्यूज के बीच में साइन चेंज हो रहा है फंक्शन का. वो दोनों कंसेक्टिव वैल्यू आप पार्ट 1 के आंसर में लिखोगे. So go to mode, then go to table, then it's saying fx. So in fx you have to enter x cube minus 8x minus 30. X cube है कैसे enter होता है, you have to press alpha and then x. X is next to st. So alpha x whole cubed, then minus 8 alpha x minus 30. I hope everybody is able to enter that in the calculator. Press equals to, it might ask for gx, ignore that, press equals to. Then it asks for start. Start ले लेते हैं, नेगेटिव वैल्यूज भी ले लें, -5 से 5 तक करते हैं. -5 start, end is 5. Step size is 1. And let's see, do we get a change of sign? हाँ आ गया. F3 और F4 में different values हैं. So you have to show that F3 is equals to -10 and F4 equals to 19. Hence root lies between 3 and 4. Okay. Part 2. Use the iterative formula to determine this root correct to two decimal place. Okay. So your starting value can be taken as 3 because you know that the root lies between 3 and 4. X1 is going to be 3. For x2, you have to show one complete iteration. That's going to be 8 times 3 plus 13, power 1 by 3. So I'm going to save 3 as answer. So 3 equals, now I'm going to enter bracket 8 times answer plus 13, bracket close, power 1/3. By the way, power 1/3 is cube root. So that's 3.3322 as the first iteration.
मैम
हाँ जी.
मैम x1 को 3.5 लिया जा सकता है क्योंकि मतलब कि मिड पॉइंट है ये 3 और 4 का।
नहीं, मिड पॉइंट जरूरी तो नहीं, वैसे लिया जा सकता है, वो कन्वर्ज कर जाता है। आप रूट से आगे की वैल्यू लो, पीछे की वैल्यू लो, वो कन्वर्ज किया कर जाता है, ले लो।
ठीक है मैम।
नेक्स्ट वुड बी 3.410, 2. Next is 3.4279. Next is 3.4320. Next is 3.4329. Press equals to again 3.431. 331. 3.4331. That's enough iterations to show. I'm going to press equals to a couple of times. And it stops at 4.332. So 3 dot dot dot, and then we get 3.4332. So this is the root correct to 4 decimal place, which we have to round off correct to 2 decimal place, which is going to be 3.43. Okay, let's end the lesson here. You will be doing question 7 as homework. I think that's it. Question 7 बस homework में करो. ठीक है, it's slightly tricky, इसीलिए मैंने homework में दिया ताकि थोड़ा challenging question हो. The first part, उसमें you have to use AS concept from circular measure. So try this on your own. It's a tricky question. So I'll discuss it tomorrow if you're unable to do it. Okay. See you tomorrow, inshallah. Allah Hafiz.
अल्लाह हाफ़िज़ मैम।